There's nothing more gratifying or validating in a basic scientist career than to see a concept conceived and investigated on a bench in the laboratory actually be developed into a therapeutic that can help patients. For me, the CRF journey started during my postdoctoral studies more than 35 years ago, and we've been studying this system at Neurocrine since our inception, trying to find a suitable compound that has drug-like properties that could be effective in different disease states. There are too many people to count that have advanced this field since Wylie Vale first discovered the actual CRF peptide in 1981, and who have brought their expertise and ingenuity to understanding this key driver of the HPA axis. I consider myself very fortunate to have played a small part in furthering the field and helping to bring a novel approach and new medicine to patients. When Wylie discovered the CRF peptide in 1981, he was looking at the HPA and stress axis with a goal of understanding the regulation of this very potent and complicated physiologic system. A system that is under such tight control of itself that any perturbations along the axis have severe pathologic consequences. Throughout this journey, however, Wylie would always say to us, "Don't forget about the HPA." Our belief in the CRF system offered us the opportunity to explore its potential in CAH. So after many years of studying the system and its mechanisms, we tested CRF antagonists in this disease and demonstrated efficacy in late-stage clinical trials. There have not been any treatment options for these patients other than steroids for over 70 years. The administration of steroids serves two functions. The first is to replace the missing steroid in the body, which you cannot live without, and the second is to try and reduce the hyperactivity of the HPA axis, which is driven by CRF from the hypothalamus, which leads to high circulating levels of ACTH in the body. This in turn causes increased synthesis and release of androgens from the adrenal. Using exogenously administered steroids to regulate the HPA axis is very much a blunt instrument. It manages the disease, but comes with its own physiologic consequences, many of which we're only now understanding better. The disorder affects more than just androgen production from the adrenal. We have to remember that the lack of steroid production from the adrenal affects a much larger system in the body, that is the disruption of the HPA axis. The CAH community, I think, is unique, largely driven by the patients, caregivers, thought leaders, as well as basic and clinical researchers who work together to help improve the lives of these patients. You only have to attend one of the CAH functions to understand that they are more than a community of people with a common disease state. They really are a family. Yes, each member has very similar issues as far as their underlying condition, but each family member or patient has different perspectives on how their disease affects their daily lives. One of my most memorable moments was meeting an adult CAH patient and listening to their lifelong complex journey with this disorder, then recognizing that the work that we have done over many years have had a positive impact on this patient's life. That was very humbling. As a scientist, the one thing I've learned is that focusing on some of the mechanisms of how the body functions, you have a better chance of understanding how to relieve or treat an issue when something goes wrong. This approach takes a long time, but it is a very satisfying journey and one that I would take again.